In 1983, he quit the 10th grade to play professional tennis. 2 years later, at the age of 17, Boris Becker rocked the tennis world. The unseeded German bested South African Kevin Curran in 4 sets to win Wimbledon. He became the youngest man ever to win a Grand Slam title. 1 year later, Andre Agassi would also, like Becker, quit school in the 10th grade to play tennis professionally. The 5-foot 10-inch Las Vegas native brought a lethal forehand, rock star hair, and a flamboyant fashion style that turned heads. Within 18 months, Agassi would be closing in on a top 10 ranking. In 1988 and 1989, Becker and Agassi would meet 3 times on the court. Each time, Becker dominated Agassi, winning easily in straight sets with his powerful serve. The 3rd consecutive loss was a 6-1, 6-3 drubbing at Madison Square Garden. Looking to solve the problem and reverse course, a frustrated Agassi began to watch tapes of Becker. He paid attention to his serving motion, and it paid off as Agassi noticed a small tick. Just before Becker tossed the ball, he would stick his tongue out. His tongue would either be in the middle of his lip or the left corner of his mouth, and the position of his tongue would indicate where the ball was going. When standing over to the right and serving left to the deuce court, the tongue in the left corner would indicate a wide serve, whereas the tongue in the middle of his mouth would indicate a serve down the middle or into the body. Agassi would use this insight in his next match against Becker just 4 months later in Indian Wells, and it worked brilliantly. He beat Becker handily, 6-4, 6-1 in the semis. This small insight allowed Andre to react faster, position himself in the right place at critical pressure-filled points. And according to Agassi, he said the hardest part wasn't returning the serve, the hardest part was not letting him know that he knew the tick. Over the next 9 years, the pair would square off another 10 times. Agassi would win 9 of those 10 matches. The Agassi-Becker story is an apt metaphor for the diamond goldfish. In Agassi's words, you can't problem solve unless you have the ability or the empathy to perceive all that's around you. And the more you can understand what the problem is through other people's lenses, the more you can solve for people in life and in business. If you can see business through a new lens as the ultimate game, you can wire yourself for winning. In the words of author Marcel Proust, the voyage of discovery is not in seeking new landscapes, but in having new eyes. The concept of the diamond goldfish challenges you to see sales and the process of developing relationships in a new way. A diamond symbolizes the best future approach to achieving prosperity in business. Acting in accordance with the diamond rule is the next evolution of managing relationships. It's the 4.0 version of business. Let's look at 1.0, 2.0, and 3.0 for background. Version 1.0 is the silver rule. The silver rule is simply do no harm. As stated by Zizhong, a disciple of Confucius, in the book Analects, what I do not wish others to do unto me, I also wish not to do unto others. The problem with silver, though, is that it's not prescriptive. It doesn't exactly tell you how to treat others, it merely shares what not to do. But it's not a bad start. Case in point, beginning in 2000, Google famously coined "Don't be evil" as their company slogan. Version 2.0 is the golden rule. Throughout nearly every culture and religion, the golden rule has become, no pun intended, the gold standard for human dynamics. The golden rule is simply treating others the way you would like to get treated. And from a moral perspective, This approach seems reasonable, even admirable, and can represent the baseline perspective for raising children. But if the silver rule deals in what not to do, the golden rule broadens it to all situations. Unfortunately, though, in sales and managing relationships, the golden rule is a bad rule. And here's why. In most sales organizations, an acceptable conversion rate is about 25%, meaning that only 1 out of every 4 opportunities converts to a sale. Because you were taught to follow the golden rule, it's fair to assume you know what your clients want based on what you would want if you were them. The golden rule leads to suboptimal results. This is simply because not everyone wants the same thing or to be treated the same way. Version 3.0 is the platinum rule. The next level was popularized by Dr. Tony Alessandra in 1996. It simply is treating others the way they want to be treated. Grounded in emotional intelligence, the platinum rule asks you to accommodate the feelings of others. The platinum rule is more outward facing in its approach. The focus here shifts from this is what I want, so I'll give everyone the same thing, to let me first understand what they want, and then I'll give it to them. One of the challenges when completely focusing on the other person is that we can overlook how we are feeling and reacting to a situation. For example, we may go into a meeting with the best of intentions to apply the platinum rule, but then something happens where we feel upset or disrespected or unheard, and then our capability to actually apply the platinum rule is interrupted. Therefore, while the platinum rule is aspirational, we must also be true to ourselves and neutralize our biology in order to be capable of addressing the needs of others. Version 4.0 is the diamond rule. The diamond rule takes platinum to the next level. Treating someone the way they want to be treated is tricky enough under normal circumstances. But what happens when things start to get heated? In the immortal words of former heavyweight champion Mike Tyson, everyone has a plan until they get punched in the mouth. Pressure can trigger a biological response that causes us to act in an unpredictable and irrational manner. Under pressure, our brain activates a hardwired survival strategy every time it detects a perceived threat. Why is the diamond rule so critical in sales and managing relationships? Well, the answer is simple. A sales or client management situation is inherently full of pressure, and pressure can make things unstable. In business, you need to manage yourself and your prospect or client through these difficult situations. The diamond rule combines elements of both the golden rule and the platinum rule. Said simply, the diamond rule is the art of managing yourself under pressure and then addressing the needs of others to avoid their triggers. Practicing the diamond rule requires 2 elements. 1, you have to see your own predictable behavioral style when pressure hits. And 2, you need the capability to assess your prospects or clients relative to 4 different predictable behavioral styles based primarily on how people biologically respond to pressure. The diamond rule is the most advanced approach for working effectively with other people. As a combination of the golden rule and the platinum rule, it requires you to consider and satisfy your own instinctive concerns while simultaneously addressing the needs of others. Although it takes keen awareness and presence to pull this off, it is truly the holy grail of human dynamics. When you adhere to the diamond rule, you rise above the pressure, reaching an elevation that makes it easy to focus on solving client problems and reducing the pressure they feel. This makes you stand out as unique and better in the eyes of your client and dramatically increases your ability to win more business.